Hi everyone, this is Erin from Sandpaper Road, and welcome to the Scrapbook Tutor series. This episode is on color, and we're going to start with the topic of photos. Now, this is a very early layout in my scrapbooking career, featuring photos from the first meatloaf that I ever made. And the color is, I just want to focus just on the color. Do you know what I was trying to do? I was trying to match the entire page's color to that checkered pattern and green pattern of the pot holders that I have in my hand. I am not making that up. I remember doing this. I remember doing this specifically. Now, here's the thing. If I did not have those photos there, just imagine the page. How in the world would that color and that page enhance the meatloaf and my experience making the first meatloaf? I mean, yeah, it's a cute idea that you might notice later as you continue to look at the page that it matches the pot holder, but do I need to do it on the whole entire page? I mean, I probably could have gotten away with making little pot holder mitts out of that, same pattern paper. It's just a little much. Now, looking at a same kind of a scenario, but in a different way, this is when my brother was working as a chef or a sous chef for a little bit of time in his life. And I think to myself, whether or not those photos were there, that page, the color choice on that page completely describes the pictures, even if the pictures weren't even there. Um, it's just that black and white and red are such classic color combinations. And so, I mean, yeah, I chose to bring out the little bit of red that's in the cake that he's making, but it wouldn't even matter if that was there. You could put any chef pictures in there and it would still create the same feel of the page. So color is just really, really important. And I know I might repeat myself as these topics go on, but you don't have to be so matchy-matchy. The next topic I want to look at when it comes to color is the use of white space. And as scrapbookers, this is something we either tend to overuse or underuse, I think, sometimes. First of all, the color that I chose in this early scrapbook layout, we would have crab and clams night when we would go on vacation. Oh my goodness, it looks like, it, do you know what I was trying to do? I was trying, and this again crosses over to some of the pictures, but I was trying to match the color of my brother's shirt to, like, what is there, like a little yellow thing on the table there or something? I just went overboard. It's just overboard. It takes away from the feel of the pictures. It certainly takes away from the feel of the experience. And the colors, that the whole primary school color for crab and clams night, it's just not a good idea. There's not enough white space there. It similar to that meatloaf page. It's just all color, too much. But yet, for some reason, if you think back to the page on my brother as a chef, it works well there. So let me show you an example of a page that I made still in my earlier years of scrapbooking, but with a much better use of white space. This is from that same vacation, and I left the whole page virtually blank. I have these giant, almost like vellum stickers of these seashells and things like that. And rather than try to create, you've done it on a beach page, you try to create the whole page itself that looks like the entire beach. But this, I think, is so effective, and it really enhances the photos and the mood of that trip, but just by leaving a lot of the page open. Certainly there's some grounding there, we talked about in the other episode. If you missed it, certainly check out the rest of the episodes in the Scrapbook Tutor series. But there's some grounding there, mounting the picture with a double mount, bringing out that white space with a thin outline around the photo. But that's just, I think, a really good use of color. Never mind the blue and the red aren't duplicated anywhere else, and they coordinate with each other. This page, I cannot say enough negative things about this page, and I know I probably shouldn't. It was one of my earliest pages, but the white space, just having some white space in that, I think would fix it. For example, what if there was a white square behind, like a smaller white square, maybe an 8-inch square behind the middle of this page, behind the pictures? Wouldn't that make a huge difference in just pulling everything together? You've got this random white space with the title, and then another random white space in the opposite corner with the years, and that's it. Now, not like white is a requirement for your scrapbook pages, but if you can't figure out what your page needs, that might be one of the things it might need, just a little bit of white space to balance everything out. Now, here's another example. I showed this page also in another episode in this series, but the white space there, even though it's just used for journaling, I think is just so effective. We need that in our brain to kind of balance out. And never mind the fact that it does balance with the little bottles and trinkets that are there on the shelf and my littlest brother's shirt. So you've got some ties there, balancing all of the white space together. Plus, it gives you an opportunity to journal and tell the story as well. So just don't forget to include some white space, or to restrain yourself and not fill up your entire page with jamming colors and other things like that with your page. These are just a few tips and tricks to make your scrapbooking better, especially if you don't know what your layouts exactly need. So the next topic we're going to talk about with color is mood. And this would be the mood of the pictures, the mood of the page. What is the mood that you're trying to give off? This page, I get disappointed every time I see this page, and I feel good every time I see this page. I think it's funny because I remember I made that page exactly the way I wanted to, and I was pleased with it at the time. When we went on vacation, we opened up the door to the bedroom of our rental house, and it was just the most beautiful sight we ever saw. Just two twin-size beds with a sunlight and a curtain, and it was just beautiful. We just knew we were on vacation. Why in the world I would choose this dark blue background and this strange title is beyond me. But at the time, I was really pleased with myself. And I think because I had read somewhere that blue is a peaceful color and that I wanted to evoke that mood. But here it doesn't, because it almost looks like a creepy room if you don't know the story or the feeling of it. Here's another example where I misused the idea of color. My first communion, for heaven's sake. And because we had a special service out in the backyard of our home at the time where we lived when I was a little girl, and it was all like a wooded area and stuff, for some reason, when I was making this page, I decided that I was going to enhance like the brown of the trees, the brown of my hair, the brown of my dad's suit coat, the brown of the banner, the brown of the communion. Just why? That it actually didn't enhance it at all. It created a really dismal and strange mood. I think back to the first category in this video right now about with or without the photos. If these photos weren't here, wouldn't it be sort of a funny mood that you felt seeing First Communion and the magic mesh? Remember magic mesh? I used to love magic mesh. But just the brown just doesn't help the mood. Now, it's not just dark colors that are bad, because here's an example of a page I made just a few years ago. I really liked these pictures. My husband, now my fiance at the time, he took them as we were going out to dinner for my birthday. And I just really liked the way that brown looks. I love the combination of pink and brown just as colors together anyway. But here you could see I used more effective white space. I outlined the photos in white. I outlined the border in just some dotted lines that I drew with a pen, and just made sure to not drown everything out with the dark brown that I was trying to use. And I think that works well there. Not so much in that First Communion page, But here I think it's effective to more enhance the photos, give off the mood that of not just the evening, but of the kind of space I was in at that time of my life. Just, I think there's a way to use dark cardstock or a dark background without having it drown everything out or bring it down and depress it. And the final topic we're going to talk about in terms of color today is the topic of enhancing versus matching, enhance versus match. So rightfully so, we're going to go back to this meatloaf page. Oh my goodness. There is just, it just is too matchy to actually enhance the topic of the photos and the photos themselves. It would be, you know what? What if I had made this page with Mickey Mouse's like all over the page because it was matching my shirt? That wouldn't do anything for it. So why in the world I try to do it with the mitt, the oven mitt all over is just beyond me. That's not to say it's a bad page. I just think the color doesn't help. It doesn't enhance the pictures. It actually makes it worse. So sometimes, like if I was redoing this, I might even do more reds. I might, because of that black, white, and red color combination, or more neutrals, and maybe stick with a craft palette, to make it look a little bit more natural. Here's a double page layout spread that I made when we went years ago to celebrate my dad's birthday. And again, this goes back to matching versus enhancing. Now there's this tapestry that was on the wall in the restaurant there. And I pulled colors from that tapestry because rather than colors from our outfits. And that worked well. It's the same as when I did it in that coffee shop picture, pulling colors that were in the coffee shop itself, not just, things about coffee. This wine, yes, I've got like little wine stickers and things like that. I think maybe I would do the structure of this page a little differently if I was redoing it. But the color itself, I think, works really well. It's not overpowering. The simple stripe lines, I remember I really liked that paper, are just nice and fitting. Got a masculine feel, going back to the fact that it's my dad's birthday. I have to go back to this page just one more time, especially because we're talking about matching versus enhancing. If I was redoing this page, and as a matter of fact, I'm so motivated to redo this page because I've got perfect paper in mind to redo it. And so take a look at that on my channel. See if we can, I might even link to it a little bit later after I make the page. But how does this brown enhance? Just because it matches the color that's in the photos doesn't mean that it enhances the photos at all. As a matter of fact, it makes everybody in the photos look like they're floating because it just runs right into the background. And I don't know why I would choose dark brown for that. Yeah, I'm so motivated to remake that page. I think I'm definitely going to do that. But I think if I was remaking it, I would certainly change that dark background. Yet again, the dark background can work. This is that page again of my brother as a chef. And that dark background, look at the darker red behind the photos just to serve as some grounding there. There's a nice border on the side. You've got some nice sort of mixed media elements. I remember I got that pin somewhere and I cracked the pin off the back so I could use it on a scrapbook page. The vellum as a mount for the pictures, that's just really nice. It's pulled together nicely. There's a little bit of white space, in the vellum and in the little mixed media embellishment there. It enhances not only the mood, but also the photos, but yet it doesn't really match the photos. So there's a way that you can think of your pool pages. You wouldn't add more blue. You would try to add something that coordinates. All the blue is going to be in your pictures. So you'd choose something orange or yellow for your pages to enhance the pictures. So thanks so much for watching this episode of Scrapbook Tutor on color. And I encourage you to check out other videos on the Sandpaper Road channel. Thanks so much for subscribing, and also make sure to tune into the episodes of Scrapbook Tutor as well. and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.